So what do you do at Rentrack?
Um, since ITVX was acquired in about a year ago, mostly I'm focused on the integration of ITVX and Rentrack's data and analytics. But I'm also, because of my background, I'm also working more corporate-wide on bigger measurement projects for Rentrack in general. So I work closely with Bruce Gerlich, who you all know, David Algranati, Michael Vincent. These are all the marketing scientists and kind of PhD folks that we have our little team that works on things.
Could you go a little bit into ITVX and what they're known for?
Absolutely. ITVX started about 10 years ago, and the focus has been on measuring really the impact and effectiveness of branded entertainment, what's known as branded entertainment. Really what that's become is branded content, whenever the brand is appearing outside of the commercial pods in television, or it's appearing in movies, or even mobile and web content. And it's almost become another form of media, and I think that's what attracted Rentrack to buying us. With Rentrack's TV Essentials and set-top box data, really capturing second-by-second data, and the whole theatrical side of the business, which is the currency for box office. Now we have a chance to actually measure not just ads, but also and box office, but also the brand in content, in the media's content. So the methodology that ITVX has developed is a little different. It's more along the lines of Google or Netflix. In fact, our approach is very similar to an engineering approach that Netflix uses to rate the quality of movies in their systems.
Can you go into more detail about how you approach this?
Sure. Again, it's really an engineering approach. It's not as commonly seen in marketing, although if we presented to Google or Amazon or even Netflix, they would kind of get it right away because they do these sorts of things. But ITVX developed over the last 10 years a content analysis, a branded content analysis system. Basically what this is we record video, TV, 24 hours a day. I think we're up to about 20 channels of continuous recording. And of course with Rentrack now we're going to expand it out to basically a syndicated kind of service, capturing everything on TV. So the analysts actually have software they use where they literally watch the program. Let's say it's an episode of The Big Bang Theory, and they're literally checking the start and stop points of each segment of the brand that just appears in content. And this could be anywhere from a second, where the logo just flashes, to an actual period where a character might be using the laptop. There might be messaging where certain key phrases have been inserted into the script, actually consciously, that reflect something about the product, let's say. I know that sounds insidious, but it's done all the time now. It might be actually a custom content piece that Dell has created that's not a commercial, but it kind of looks like a commercial, and it might run before or after a commercial pod. That's not as common for Dell, but I'm just using Dell as an example. Anyway, then literally all they do at that point is they classify each segment. They're not rating it. They're not saying I like it, I don't like it. That's actually what Netflix does when they do the same thing. They actually rate the movies, and they have a trained analyst that does that. Our analyst actually literally just does a classification task, and they have a choice of 18 levels from low to high. And this basically is, kind of the, not really secret sauce, but it's the model that ITVX has developed over the last 10 years of how branded entertainment works. And it's based on a hierarchical model that goes from the characteristics of an integration that have the least impact to the most impact. Again, so they're not literally rating it. They're just clicking what segment it belongs in. Then it goes into the software, which is scaled the levels. It applies various weights and adjustments. It's lined up with the Rentrack audience data, so we know exactly during those 10 seconds where there was a little interchange with one of the characters using the computer, that segment was a X level. It had that exact average audience at that point. So at the end, it's all rolled up into a number, and that number is called a media queue, for lack of a better term. And that kind of represents the quality or the impact of the integration overall for the whole episode. It produces a rating because remember we have these exact average audience segments. They're just added up, divided by the number of segments, multiplied by, excuse me, the average divided by the total household. So you have literally a comparable rating to how Rentrack measures or outputs exact commercial ratings. It's brand specific. If there were 4 brands in Big Bang, we could essentially do four pass-throughs and capture all the product. So the clients get, again, this media value, the exact average audience, which can be turned into a rating. They can multiply it against CPM or any kind of value measures they have, and they finally have a quantification of the brand in content. And since the system is really screen agnostic, we do it for television, we do it for film, that's the major portion. Mobile content, web content, there are various adjustments in the background because obviously a mobile screen is smaller and that kind of thing, but that's all based on research. But the outcomes are the same. Now again, because it's a model of, kind of a theoretical model of how branded entertainment works, the system also outputs predictive measures. Again, I don't want to oversell these or make it sound like it's more than it is, but these are just expected values of recall, brand shift, and purchase interest, general values for the total population, not any specific target, that we can attribute to those that actually watched the content or saw the content. And it's based on a lot of secondary research, academic research. There's actually been hundreds of studies on branded entertainment in film and TV, and we've read all those and have academic folks that keep us in the loop on other aspects of it. Anyway, long story short, the predicted values literally just capture the difference between a group of control folks who didn't see the show and a group of test folks that did see the show. It's emulating that sort of thing. So it's an estimate. It's not exact in terms of doing an actual survey and going out, but it's based on that kind of work over the past 10 years. And that's been done internally, private, the stuff that we've invested in, as well as externally with clients who wanted to do research. So it's actually a very consistent, reliable, it has less variance than a survey result, plus or minus, because it's the model is consistent and regular over time. So clients can always do surveys, and many of them do, and that's one way another way to capture impact. And if you want more detailed questioning, of course, the survey is a way to go too, and we encourage that. But one of the things we've been dabbling in is biometric research. In fact, we're doing a study now with a client to measure, to do our measurements plus the measurement of the emotional response to the branded content, plus ads in the same show. And we're also in discussions with I consider the top biometric firm on the industry side, on the commercial side, an industry study where we're going to combine a major media agency, television network, Rentrack, of course, and this biometrics firm to do a kind of a cross-comparative study of branded content across all different screens, which should be very interesting. We hope it goes, and we can share the results with the industry. It would be very valuable.